Welcome to the Work Behind the Vows.
Brought to you by Healing is a Lifestyle.
Around here, we have real conversations discussing daily choices and the healing work that holds marriages together.
Yes, we're two whole people on a healing journey, and we're so excited that you're going on this journey with us. We can't wait till you dig into this week's episode. All right, let's do it.
We're your hosts. I'm Words Taylor.
And I am your host, Julanda Taylor. Can y'all tell my excitement? We on episode number 4. I done tried to jump the gun. And go right in there. 4. Okay, episode 4.
Okay, cool.
They're still fine seeing your spouse through healed eyes.
You're still fine.
Oh, boy, you talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? You're still fine, girl.
But seriously, this is the last episode, the culmination of this series, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about everything from attraction, disconnection, being in the roommate season and how to navigate that, the hidden killers of connection. So
for sure.
This episode is solely focused on how do we restore desire and connection through intentional love?
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
Fourth time, attraction can fade. I think that's what this series has taught us.
Yeah.
Attraction can fade, but it can also be restored. So what I wanted to jump in was something real simple, nice, and fluffy for us. I like to hear my husband gas me up a little bit because, every now and then. But so I wanted us to share something fun or flirty.
Okay.
That has happened recently.
Okay.
If anything comes to mind.
Okay, I have 2 scenarios that come to mind. Okay, one is just Mother's Day and you asking us for a dance, the whole family.
True.
So the whole family had to learn this dance in order to do it for you for Mother's Day. We had you breakfast in bed. Even more recent than that, I wanted you to learn.
Dang it, you gonna take mine.
I wanted you to learn a dance. And the fact that you actually intentionally, I just happened to send you this random meme and was like, man, I want you to learn this and do this.
And you gotta tell the people, this is the Chris Brown, it depends challenge dance, right?
Yeah.
This man sends me a funny one and says, "Babe, I want you to learn this."
Yeah.
What he didn't know is I had already been teaching myself the challenge.
Yeah.
So he sent it to me and I said, "Boy, I got you."
Yeah.
And so I spent maybe 3 weeks kind of perfecting it, getting it right. I mean, I had it right away, but I wanted to really be able to perform it to him.
Right.
And then it even, who was it? It was one of the twins. I think Tia Mowry did it.
Yeah.
And you were like, babe, look, even Tia did it. And he don't know this whole time that in my head, I'm like, boy, I've been working on this thing.
Yeah.
So I broke it down for him. And if you could have seen his face, it was like a kid in the candy store. He was like, "Oh my God, you learned the dance!" He was so excited.
I thought that was really dope. This one, it may not be like fluffy, but it was impactful for me when I was telling you that after therapy, I'm like, man, I'm just dude, and had me start to process all of these things, and I'm really feeling super vulnerable and emotional. I'm feeling weak out here. It's like, that's why I said I can't go to him every week. Then I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm a thug out here, But and just in that, and I'm sitting on the couch. I'm sitting in this chair actually, and you recognizing that my energy was not normal, and you came and put yourself completely in my lap, and just, man, we hugged for maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes, and that was good. It was just I even felt, myself just relax and, not be as intense. And then we sat down and had a conversation. I thought that was really good as well. That was something that was really dope. So
I guess we got some love between us.
For sure. Yeah.
So what does attraction look like now versus what it looked like 16 years ago?
Okay. I think 16 years ago, I think more so I was still pursuing maybe the physical attraction. Maybe I'm still pursuing the sexual part of the relationship, and and all of those things. Today, not saying that that is gone away, because whenever I see you about to get in the shower, I still follow you all the way to, okay, we got a free show. Okay, the show.
Every time.
We got a show going. All right, I say the attraction looks more like me going on different journeys with you. Like it's where, so one of the things I was thinking is sometimes we get stuck in the roommate stage, and we come out of this attractive stage when we stop learning and exploring our spouse.
That's good.
And it's important to recognize that we're constantly changing and growing. Our values are increasing, our principles, we're adding to them. Our bodies are changing, our mindset is changing. Like our interactions with the world are changing. And so the attraction now is more about the fact that there's some things that I see you do that I'm like, that's really dope. Again, I talked about reading books, right? To see you sit and curl and be excited about, buying a book or the book coming and all that stuff. To see you get excited about you trying, if y'all don't know, like we always do hot breakfast for our kids. So we don't do cereal and all of those things, just habits that we didn't want to bring on to them that we had. And to see you looking up new stuff for your kid, new ways to creatively do breakfast, that's attractive. It's like truly caring about our kids' health. Even though it may be annoying, but to see you, like, her process for grocery shopping is, it's not based off of, let me just go to the grocery store and see what I'm going to get and think about it. It's like, what meals do I want to create?
Absolutely.
And then it's like, okay, what are all the ingredients to those meals? And then what's inside of these things? So now I got to make sure I pick, I can't pick this meat because it has this. I can't go to this store because
ultra processed meats coming up in here.
They support this person, so I can't shop at this store. So she's going to 3 and 4 different stores. I think that work ethic and the value you place on making sure we're protected in that way, that's attractive. So things like that are really more so the attraction, the things that I start to value that there.
Let me just also say, I thought that everybody did that with regard to intentionally shopping and even in how you prepare your food. Like, I get it. It didn't happen when I was growing up, but I just figured that was how they did things now. But I thought today everybody was intentional, like with just what you're putting on your plate and how you're preparing your food and how you do these things. And so to hear him say this, we have friends, one of our friends was here, and I was putting rice in a rice cooker that I had at the time, and I was rinsing my rice.
She cleans the rice.
You rinse? That's what you're supposed to do.
Right, but it's like multiple times. She's going from strainer to strainer.
You rinse the rice. You rinse it like, 2-3 times. It takes the starch off, some of the dirt and all that. But regardless, I thought everybody did that.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to clean the rice.
Yeah,
and she's
for
saying, girl, I'm going to let my kid come over here with you every day because I know you going to give him what's good. And I was like, oh, y'all don't do that?
Yeah,
I thought.
for sure.
So
yeah, I
just say that, like, yes, it is. It's a natural inclination in me to do these things, but it is a blessing. And I am grateful that you see that as something that you love and that makes you attracted to me. I think for me, initially, the attraction was sexual. So this is the thing, though. This is the thing. So the extraness. Okay, this is the thing. When we met, I had not really started the healing process.
Right, for sure.
I was literally in the cusp, the very beginning of even identifying that healing was necessary.
Right, for sure.
So a lot of the actions and choices and things that I made was out of trauma. A lot of the stuff that I did was to cover or to hide trauma. So for me, sex was a coping skill. Shopping was a coping skill. Drinking was a coping skill. Smoking marijuana was a coping skill.
Yeah.
These were all coping skills.
Isn't it crazy that the things we cope with are the things
That hurt us.
that hurt us?
Absolutely.
Like food.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Overeating was a coping
For
skill.
sure.
So these were all coping skills when we met. And so when we got together and even, early on into our marriage, excuse me, I was still using those coping skills.
For sure.
So what that did is that created this false sense of sexuality in our marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he was like, I got the freak of all freaks. Was what he thought. I told you, go back to the previous episodes. I said the lady said I was supposed to be everything for my husband, okay? So I took that literal, okay?
Open the floodgates. Yeah.
Not realizing though, nope, there you go, about to take the mic out.
Listen, I've dropped this mic. Was it 3 times? Is it 3 times right now?
We gonna pray.
And Brittany, our producer, is like, yo, let me know when you need to move and I'll come move the mic.
But not realizing that while yes, I am a sexual being, those were coping skills that I was using to hide the fact that I was hurting.
For sure.
But it created this false sense of intimacy in our relationship and in our marriage.
That's
so in
real.
the beginning, it was like, whoo! And that through him, they say people evolve, they change, they do, absolutely. So as I started that healing process, that took him back like, yo, we were doing more before.
For sure, for sure. And it was crazy to me that it's like I'm healing. So in my thing, or healing means there should be more that's happening, right? Like how are we tapering off if we're healing? But
it's protecting
for sure
and honoring my needs.
So if I am overeating as a coping mechanism, but now I'm going through the process of healing, I'm not going to eat as much.
I got to find other things. So if I'm over-sexualizing
as a coping mechanism, as I'm healing, then I'm not going to do as much. I'm going to start to, break down. But that's not to say it won't build or it hadn't built up again, because that was a point, maybe this was last year, where we looked and I was like, girl, okay. Shoot, you know what I'm saying? That's not to say that it can't build up, but there's a healed version of it now.
Absolutely.
This is how it looks, differently now, as opposed to, the other way, the unhealed version of
Absolutely.
it.
So attraction in the beginning was really sexual.
For sure.
It was really because I was using you as a coping skill and a coping mechanism.
Keep on using me.
Now.
Till you use me. Okay.
Now, attraction really looks like you being my safe place.
Yeah.
You being a place where I can come to you and I can not feel too hot, and I can say to you, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way and I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure.
And you sit with me and you hug me and you lay with me and I can get on your lap and just hug for 3 minutes straight.
Yeah.
That's attraction today.
That's good.
Like that, and that makes me feel good, and it makes me feel so much better than it did when I was using sex as a numbing tool.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
if that makes sense. I think also in this healing process, there's a huge role that forgiveness has played in our ability to be attracted to one another.
Yeah.
And how, in this healing process, you work on forgiving yourself. You work on forgiving your spouse. You work on forgiving your family and friends and different people who hurt you. Yeah. And that release allows you this openness and this vulnerability to truly be loved for all that you are.
Yeah. I think that's the part that, and we're talking about it now, but that's not often talked about, how much your resentment towards people around you or your past environment starts to interrupt or disrupt the relationships that you're trying to build now.
Absolutely.
So, we were very intentional about having conversations with our parents and, brothers and things like that, and really seeking reconciliation. Do y'all know?
Oh my gosh, I already know where you about to go.
We had a conversation with my brother-in-law, okay?
I know you was about to go.
Julanda's brother, and this man was like, and we getting it all out. And he was like, man, I think, you know what? I think you settled. I think you settled. He was like, I think my sister settled with you. And I'm like, what? I'm getting heated. And she was like, he said, I seen the other guys she dated. And he puts his hand up here as to show that they're taller, maybe slender guys. And I'm just like, what in the world? Now, today he does not. He's like, man, I wasn't seeing it like that and all that stuff. But I'm asking him, I said, what would make you think, that you settled? And then he said I was trying to control you or things like that. I'm like, you name somebody that has controlled your sister. Okay. You name a person that has had, that impact or whatever. So
what my brother was referring to is we all have this, when we're young, we have our list. We have this idea of what we are dating. And all the men that I dated prior to you fit that list. They needed to be 6 foot and above. Pretty much, think about LL Cool J. That was my love, okay? LL Cool J, he was the man, right? And so I met you. You're 5'11", saying this on camera.
That's what my license say.
I don't believe it because he's not. Yeah. But you're 5'11", and you got some extra love on you. Always have had it.
Right. For sure.
And my brother's looking at him like, that ain't who she was with.
Right.
That's not who she's supposed to be with.
For sure.
She settled for you.
Right.
He doesn't know what I know.
He don't know. You hit the jackpot.
He don't know that. He don't know. He doesn't know the man
for sure
that you are and the potential that I seen prior to you becoming my husband.
Absolutely.
And for me, the sexiest thing in that season was your willingness to seek God.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of messing up.
For sure.
You was like, okay, well, let's pray. Let's go to church. And I'm like, nah, boy, we just got out the club. We going to church.
Yeah, for sure.
That right there was sexy to me. And that was potential. And that was, this is a man that can lead me and my kids to God if he chooses God, right? Like if he chooses to fully put his heart and follow him. So my brother didn't know that.
Good.
He doesn't mean nothing by it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I think we have a great relationship now, but I even had to bring back to him, it's like, let's look at, because at one point he was trying out for the D League. I said, let's look at every time you tried out for the D League, who was in the stands? And he was like, you were. And I said, matter of fact, there's a couple times who paid for it. He's like, y'all paid for it. Okay. When you wanted somebody to talk to the coach, who advocated? You did. And I'm like, I'm an asset in every place that I go. I'm an asset.
Amen. I'm
bringing value there. And I think it was good to get him to see like, oh shoot, okay, I missed that. Mm-hmm. There was points where I was, there were shoes that I haven't even worn that I'm like, you know what, you can have all of these joints, and all of those things. Anywhere I go, like I want to leave that space greater than what it was. And like today, we get along just fine, but it was good. This is the part of reconciliation where I didn't feel a way, but I was frustrated. I didn't feel that I had to retaliate against him
or prove something.
Right, because we were saying that, hey, we're going to reconcile. Mm-hmm. We're here for this type of conversation of why are we disconnected? What is happening? And now I get to hear your true and raw feelings. Cool. All right, now let's move. You good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Are we good now? Okay, cool. Now we can build off of that.
Absolutely.
Now that also, because of that, there's a level of relief that, within us. Cause it's like, oh, my brother and my husband get along.
Absolutely.
And I call him my brother and I call his kids my niece and nephew and all that stuff. Think about what that does to the connection and the attraction in that.
And that's what I was going to say, that reconciliation across all relationships
sure.
actually strengthens
For
your
sure.
marriage relationship.
For sure.
The reconciliation and being able to look at all of your situations from the vantage point of gratitude.
Yeah, for sure.
Being grateful for the relationship and for the ability to have these conversations with this person, for the ability to even to even be able to have a disagreement and get to a point where you can work it out.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
there should be a sense of gratitude with that, because a lot of people are still walking around here not talking to folks because
For sure.
they don't have that.
Yeah.
They haven't strengthened that muscle within them to be able to say, you know what? God said forgive.
Yeah.
God said love my neighbor as myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not about to hold nothing against myself forever.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give myself all kind of grace. Girl,
Yeah.
you all right. You was just feeling some kind of way. That same energy I'm to give to somebody else. So when you start to look at it with that perspective and from that vantage point, you get this new impenetrable intimacy.
Yeah, for sure.
You get this new, stronger intimacy in your marriage.
Yeah. But understand, if you look at that, that's coming from the internal work that we're doing that now allows me to give more in that. I don't hold this resentment out, because you all had things that you had to talk about as well in that. You and your father had things that you had to talk about. We had a conversation with him. And I had a before he passed, I had a great relationship with my father-in-law, just as well as my father calls her more than he calls me. Okay. And then when we got into it one time,
we weren't even married.
We had a TIS fellowship.
Dating.
She called my father and my girl your son is acting crazy. And this man's
acting up, Dad.
This man was like, what did you do? It's like, what? So I think when having us creating a community that advocates for our marriage, that desires for us to be married and stay married, that helps us.
That's good. Yeah.
There isn't not one person in our circle that we will talk to that be like, I don't know why you, or girl, aren't you tired of, or there's not one person that's going to do that. So
maybe I need a break.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's going to do that.
No one's going to say that. And so that in itself is going to now help develop an attraction when man, they're rooting for me as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to beware and be intentional about the people you have in your space and who you allow to pour into you and your relationship. But even you have made a point to say, that breakthrough and that reconciliation and that ability to go beyond relationships really had to do with that your own intentional work or inner work. Absolutely. But I think even more important than that, it has to do with your spiritual connection.
Yeah.
I think that because once I started to strengthen my relationship with God, that's what completely changed our relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what completely changed us to go in the trajectory of to where we are today. Right. We wouldn't be here today had I not taken myself to get in alignment with God and to say, okay, God, I'm going to seek you with all my heart. I'm going to seek you with everything. And let me clarify, because we talked about this earlier where you were like, well, the man is the head. Absolutely. But one, I was not under your covenant. Right. I was still under my father's covenant.
Right, for sure.
I was not married. We were single, right? Yeah. So as a single woman, I need to go to God.
For sure.
As a single woman, I'm connected to God and God only. I'm not to give you my body, my heart, none of that. Not until you can put yourself in a place to be my husband, right? For sure. So when I made that connection, when I went to God and I said, okay, so this joker, he gonna come back, right? But
Joker. Shout out to Rochelle T. Parks.
He's gonna come back. But when he comes back, he can't come back in the same way that he came before. True. That's gonna violate me. Yeah. Right? God, I'm putting you in control. I trust you. I give you my heart. I'm seeking you with my mind, body, and soul. Everything that I have is being poured out and poured into you. Yeah. So when you did come back, thinking you were coming back the exact same way, I was like, oh yeah, meet me in church. Mm-hmm. Meet me. You want to go on a date Friday night? Absolutely. Meet me at Bible study.
Right.
We gonna do prayer meeting tonight.
For sure.
Prayer meeting was hopping. We was there till 2 a.m. Okay.
No, that's real. That's real. That's real.
That was where we
That's
were.
real. That's real.
And I remember the very first time, like it was yesterday. This man was falling asleep in the pew.
Oh, man.
It's 2 a.m. He's like, she's serious?
Oh, my-
Absolutely. On my face.
Doing what time did the
Crying,
legs
laid down.
open? When does the legs open up?
Listen,
Like,
and God said, when you put the ring on it. That's
like,
what.
Oh my goodness.
But from that, because you knew God, you knew Christ, but you were still living, right? You were still living in the world.
Right.
And God knew I needed to get in alignment with him and for you to see that I was no longer putting you before him.
No, that's good.
Right? And when that happened, you had a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
You can either pursue God and become the head that he has created you to be, or you can stay in the world and you just won't get her.
Yeah.
Of course, you made the right decision.
Of course. Absolutely.
Years. But it was that spiritual connection that truly got us to the point to where we can be and have this physical connection. The spiritual connection has to be there as well for it to be a strong, healthy physical.
So we're saying that the attraction is going to build from one, learning your spouse, continuously learning your spouse, creating a different environment, as far as reconciling with the people around you.
Yeah,
and
who you have in your space.
Exactly. Who you have in your space is important. You're saying the spiritual aspect of like increasing yourself in God, all those things. Okay.
Increasing in that reconciliation piece, making sure that you prioritize forgiveness and gratitude and intentional intimacy.
I would say something else that was really dope. We could bring our daughter down and she would tell you this. She asked me for stuff like on Friday and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Tonight's your date night. I said, you already know. I'm hanging out with my wife tonight, Like, so having that thing where just when you were gone for 7 days and you were like, man, I could have stayed for 30 days. What was the first thing my daughter said?
No, you can't.
Well, what did she say about me though? She was like, Daddy would what?
I don't remember what she said.
Okay, but how did she say I would act?
You would leave or you would be sad. Like she was like, no, Daddy was out here tripping. Like,
right, yeah. And she was like, Daddy will be the only one that's, like,
oh, missing me?
Yeah, stressed out or whatever. So,
That's not true.
Right, yeah. But still
they were calling me every day.
But still recognizing how I feel. She knows how I feel about you. Right? So that
even to come pick me up, there was a conflict, a schedule conflict. She had tutoring.
And she was like, well, you could just send an Uber for mommy. I said, I'm not sending an Uber for my wife when I can go
pick up my wife.
Right. Well, I want to pick her up. She's been gone for 7 days. And then she's like, well, I could do tutoring on Friday. I said, Friday is my date night. I'm gonna be hanging out with my wife then, So I think that is something that when you have this weekly thing to look forward to, and like on Fridays I'm gonna shave and I'm gonna I'm gonna clean my glasses and I'm gonna pick out a outfit and I'm getting dressed up and putting on cologne and jewelry and I'm like all of those things because I'm like I'm excited and I don't care if it's just hey man, the only place we're going is to the gas station. But I'm going to make this time worthwhile. And I think that's a good thing. Like where I'm putting on clothes for me, but I'm doing it because I still want you to have a little eye candy. Absolutely. I still want to do this for my spouse. I still want my spouse to feel special. Like I'm putting in effort for you. And it's not just I'm taking advantage of like I already put a ring on and I'm gonna put some sweats on and go. That's not how I go out on our date. I'm like, I'm gonna put some clothes on and do that. So I would say to you all, like being intentional about planning that. And I would say another nice thing, dope thing you just did, cause knowing me, I'm not gonna lie. For my birthday, I said like, yo, I don't even want to do a party because I did this big old party last year. I'm like, I don't want to. Let me just chill. And we're walking to the what's the place?
Like it's an escape room.
The escape room. Now she know. I'm like, I do not want to go to the escape room. So I'm low key. I said, first of all, I said I didn't want to do nothing. Go to the escape room, and we go there, and we go in the back. And first of all, our friends are there, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? Okay, we're doing an escape room. So I still didn't show real excitement. And then the lady was like, all right, y'all ready? And she comes out all excited. I'm like, what we doing? And it's a freaking game show. That's my personality to the fullest.
Yeah.
It's this game show where we're competing against one another. We are, I'll pick 600 for, I'll take this for 600, Alex, type of vibe. I was like, this is, so little stuff like that brings the attraction where I know that was specifically done for me.
Absolutely.
I was the one in mind when you planned this out, when you did it, when you invited who you invited. Everything was about me in that time.
Because had we stayed home, it would have been about me.
For sure.
I'm low key. I'm in the house. I'm chill.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was really good. That was really good. So happy you like that, babe.
That was good.
On that note, I'm gonna let that linger. We're gonna go pay some bills.
Let's go pay some bills. Listen, we're open to sponsors so we can have real bills to pay out here.
Who you think turned these lights on? Let's go pay some bills. Shoot.
Yo, salute. How y'all feeling? So listen, I hope you're enjoying the episode and you've been rocking with me and wifey, but wouldn't it be great if you always knew when we posted new episodes or clips, or you were just completely in tune with what we were doing? Well, now you can. The only thing you got to do is subscribe to the Healing is a Lifestyle podcast, or you can go visit healingisalifestyle.com and you can follow us on social media and get up to date on everything over there. All right, let's get back to the episode. I definitely appreciate you all listening and rocking with us. Let's get it.
So we're back. And we've been having some good conversation, right?
For sure.
Okay. I want to ask a question I kind of think I know the answer to, but this was I seen it on social media. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Can you be attracted to someone you're mad at?
Can you be attracted to someone you're mad at? Mm-hmm. Okay, so look. I think here's a great example. And this is annoying, right? And I'm trying to use this now, okay? There are times when we're irritated with one another. We just had an intense fellowship. There was one time specifically when we're in Iowa, and I'm like, I am furious at you. I don't want to talk to you or anything. And I'm working out. You come down and work out, and you got your red leggings on.
I remember.
And you start stretching. I said, this girl.
Now she want to work. She ain't worked out in 6 months.
I said, this girl out here stretching. I said, and then all of a sudden you're doing this stretching where you put your legs back. And I said, oh my God. This right here.
I done pulled out all the yoga poses.
Right. I think we definitely reconciled that day. Within like an hour, I was just like, okay, whatever I was upset about, I'm done. So I don't think, so that attraction doesn't fade.
Because
right?
You're mad. Because
I'm angry, but what I am doing is there's a disconnect. Like I'm more irritated with you, or there's a thing that I'm not attracted to.
Yeah.
And now what I'm trying to force myself to do in that irritation is I'm trying to suppress the thing that I am most attracted to, which may be the conversation, or which may be the physical, which may be, rubbing your butt when I go by, or which may be giving the hugs. Like those are all things like when you married a person, I don't think you necessarily just like, oh, I'm no longer attracted to you because I'm angry with you. It's like, no, I'm suppressing that thing because I'm trying to punish you.
Oh, that's good.
I'm literally trying to control you and make you see it my way. So therefore, I'm going to take away these things that I like and I know that you like as well, which is why we stopped, you stopped talking to each other. Now when you go to bed, your feet can't touch each other. Now there's a joke that I seen. I stopped sending you reels or shorts or things like that because it's like it's funny and I want to share it. I'm like,
I don't like her right now.
I don't like you right now. So what you're really doing is suppressing the attraction that you're trying to fight against the attraction that you have for your spouse. You know, you get what I'm saying?
I agree. No, I think the same thing.
that's what's happening right there. Like,
I absolutely agree. I can see in my head. At first, I was gonna say, well, I agree with that. But at first, I was gonna say it's different when I am mad at you, because initially I was like, I don't care what you do. Like, I'm mad and I'm not. I don't care. Nothing you could do is cute.
No, I could get you.
Nothing you could do is cute. That was my first thing when you were talking about the stretch. I'm like, I don't got nothing like that with him. Nothing he could do is cute. He get on my nerve. But as you were talking, I'm like, you get to doing like, back, and you start doing your little, what you doing?
What you doing? What you doing?
I'm like, babe, stop.
I'll be like, let me get some neck. Let me get a little neck.
Stop talking to me. And first of all, before you go too deep into the woods, when he says that, like, he means a kiss.
I mean,
he
like,
means a kiss.
I mean, like, open up your neck. Let me.
Before you go too far down that rabbit hole, that is not what he was referring to. I just had to bring it back. I didn't
even think about that.
I felt it in my spirit. I don't know who it was, but I felt it in my spirit.
Somebody.
Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about, like, it's this thing where I just, like, I'll give her a hug and I'll go in and just bite her neck a little bit. So I'll just
even
say,
beyond that,
or I'll say, let me get some forehead. Let me get some forehead.
Him
babe.
and our kids and his entire family have a thing with necks and with being touched in your neck and kissed in your neck. And so I don't have that thing, but because I know they do, when he comes around, I'm like, stop, leave it alone.
Cause my father, you can put your hair right here and he'll curl all
trying to make me stutter.
He's like, you gonna make me stutter. And then we would do it to our kids. He's like, you gonna have some stuttering kids if you do it.
Just mess that black families say. So as a result, when I am frustrated with him, he knows I'm this man knows every time he's pushing the button. It's not just with me, it's with our friends too. He pushes buttons deliberately. So he knows every time.
Right.
So when he's pushed the button and he knows I'm irritated, I am now off on my own. This isn't for real, like, this isn't an intense fellowship. I'm just irritated with him.
Right, for
like,
sure.
I'm gonna move around. He comes, babe, what you doing?
What you doing?
Let me get some neck. I'm like, no, leave me alone. Let me get some neck. No, and he'll come in and
Cause it's like, if I get that one smile, it's over. Like,
makes me so mad.
All of that love, you trying to be hard, you trying to keep your little ear, we're gonna kill all that.
Makes me so mad.
Kill
the
all
entire
of that.
thing.
We're not about to, that's my whole thing. We're not about to go waste a whole day and not talk to each other and not flirt. I don't have time for all that. We're not doing all of that.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't feel like it.
So what do you think the role of conflict resolution is in restoring desire?
What do you mean, what do I think the role is?
I mean, I think we've kind of talked about it, and it's the primary role.
Yeah. That's
in order to, restore desire within
I think that's
your marriage.
the healthy part of marriage. So there was a friend of ours that they were dating someone, and I remember she said, whew, and we almost got into our first argument, and she's like, but I stopped it. And I'm like, why?
What did you do that for?
Why? What you have to start to learn and navigate these things. So I think what happens is when people think because you're married, that means that everything you agree on, it works out.
No
there's bliss, no conflict. We weren't taught that. And when we did 16 weeks of premarital counseling, we were taught that there are going to be seasons where you do not agree and you're not on the same page, or you do have separate perspectives. This is where communication takes place. Absolutely. This is where reconciliation takes place. This is where forgiveness takes place. This is where conflict resolution comes from. So I think that is the outside of God, I think that is the heart of marriage. If you have a process of reconciliation, that changes everything. If you don't have that, then what you have is you have two people that there's resentment that just constantly builds, constantly builds. All right. So the kids.
We got kids at home, y'all, and I can hear if y'all hear them.
It's okay. All right. But you have this resentment. Now, even though it seems like we've moved on, no, the smallest thing can re-trigger that thing, right? Because we haven't reconciled this.
Absolutely.
Now, and there's been times where you irritated and we have not, reconciled just yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm drinking and I just see you go,
why do you drink so
like,
loud?
Is your throat, are you able to drink somewhere?
And it's only when, like, I'm frustrated with him. It's the, like, why do I hear you drinking?
Just like now everything is annoying. Like I'm on my phone. You don't have your headphones? You don't have so all of those things, and now it's bickering, and now bickering turns into a big. You don't see that the seed,
right,
is growing.
Right.
That's when you implant reconciliation, and when we talk about conflict resolution, you kill that seed.
Absolutely.
You stop that seed from growing in your marriage. If you don't, then it's constantly you're watering it, and that's
absolutely.
that. So yeah, it's a huge part.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. I think this is a good place to put a commercial. Oh. We're gonna go ahead and take a break. That was a little heavy.
Okay.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Rochelle T. Parks. I am your health motivator. And if you know me, you know I don't play about health. That's why when it comes to fueling my body, I trust what works. And for me, that's Shaklee all day, baby. From their clean energy to their essential nutrients, these products help me to stay sharp, strong, and consistent day in and day out. So whether you're trying to bounce back or just level up, you need clean fuel. Now, Shaklee isn't just a trend. It's trusted, it's tested, and it's real. And this isn't just about supplements either, okay? It's a system that supports how I live. So if you're just getting started on your health journey, here are 4 essentials that I recommend for everyone. So you have your multivitamin, okay? That's going to fill your nutritional gaps and supports full body wellness. Then you have your omega-3 fatty acids. That will protect your heart, your brain, and your joints. Your vitamin D, that will support your immune function, your mood, and your bone health. And lastly, your probiotic. That will strengthen your gut health, your digestion, and your immunity. Guys, I use all 4 of these every single day, and Shaklee makes it easy. Healing is a lifestyle. And if you're serious about transformation, it starts right here. I prepared a starter bundle you can use for your entire family. Plus, you'll find everything else you need for immune support or other clean products you use every single day. Listen, the link is in the description below. Go ahead and click that link, okay, and get you some Shaklee today.
Welcome back. We are on episode 4, and we're at Word's favorite part of the show. Sorry, listen. You got too many names. Okay, like I was about to call you your government. Now I can call you your government. Half the world don't know it, but as I was like, Words. Yeah, because he goes by Words. Okay, sorry. I have a couple names too, but it's okay. So Word's favorite part of the show, who's at fault, right? So we had some questions posed to our social media followers, and they wanted to submit stories and have us decide like who's at fault when it comes to their relationship. So this one right here, it says, hello, my husband and I no longer sleep together in the same room, nor do we have sex. It's going on 6 months. He will not give me a divorce. He will not allow me to be free of our long-term obligation. I am a Christian. I want out. Who's at fault?
That's good. Okay. So, first thing we know that the Bible talks about when you have a hardened heart, right? And in that place, they were like, well, since you cannot reconcile your heart or be hardened, and your heart is continuing to be hardened, then okay, maybe you all should go ahead and have a divorce. What were you about to say?
I don't know if that's my interpretation of that, but yeah.
What was your interpretation?
I do understand there now. We never claim to be Bible scholars, so if you know better, go ahead and comment and let us know what it actually is. I do know that it discusses having a hardened heart.
Correct.
I didn't recall that being a reason for divorce.
Grounds for divorce.
The only ground for divorce was adultery.
No. And this hardened heart. Now, this wasn't a situation, and you can look it up while I'm talking the scripture, okay. And then we can pull it up. But this wasn't just about the idea of, hey, my hardened heart is like, oh, I'm just sick of her, I'm just tired of her, and all those things. This was like when your heart is hardened, meaning that you're not receiving God, you're not receiving love, you're not even able to pour. No one is able to pour in. You're not pouring out. You're not seeking God. You're not doing anything. You're just allowing yourself to be angry and used by the enemy. At that point, it's like, if you have a hardened heart, then at that point, all right, we're going to have to go ahead and separate.
Okay, so Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like this is a controversial scripture.
Okay.
Matthew 19:8.
Mm-hmm.
He said to them, and this is Jesus speaking, because of your hardness of heart, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives,
right.
But from the beginning, it has not been this way.
Right.
And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for immorality, and marries another woman, commits adultery.
Right.
But in reference to that, so Jesus referencing a previous scripture, there must be a scripture that says hardened heart, and it came from Moses, probably somewhere in Exodus.
Right.
That is a grounds for divorce.
So, but the way I took it is that, like, this is not the law. Like, this is not what we desire.
But this is what I'm saying can happen.
This is what I'm saying.
And God will cover it
because of where you are right now. So that's the part that I'm hearing in that part, right? So I would say at fault, I don't necessarily know. I don't know all of the context to what's happening, but I do know that if you're not willing to start the process of reconciling, right? If he's at a point where he's not like, I'm not having sex, we're not sleeping in the same bedroom, nor am I trying or attempting to do therapy or anything, I say now fault goes there, because I don't know who's at fault to start it, but who's at fault as to not come out of it is the person that is rejecting the growth.
So,
and this is what we're talking about as far as like recreating this attraction and and how do we get up there?
So I would say, like the first couple times we did this, I was like, it's both of them. The last one I don't recall. This one, I feel like, and I'm not saying it's both of them. I'm actually saying we don't have enough information. Like it's neither of them, because I don't have enough information to determine. What I do know is that this is the time to sound the alarm.
That's good.
This is 911.
That's good.
Because yes, I can recognize that his heart is hardened because he's not willing to do these things. He's also not willing to divorce you.
Right.
Like he's not willing. He's in a state of numbness. He's not willing to move, period. At the same time, Christian aside, y'all didn't get here overnight, and it isn't just one person's fault.
Right.
So I would sound the alarm, and I don't care. I can be responsible for nobody but me. So there have been times where we have been in a sound the alarm season, and I just immediately was like, let me go to therapy.
Right.
Let me work on me. Let me figure out what's going on over here.
Right, for sure.
And not because I think I'm better, but because it's like, we didn't get here without my help.
Oh, for sure. That's good.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So regardless of what he chooses to do in the end, there was a serious season in our marriage where I thought you would leave me. And it wasn't because any infidelity or like I was stepping out or he was stepping out. It was because I was in such a space of healing and I was so tunnel visioned on healing that I was changing in a good way. And I was like, I don't know that he's going to accept this new version of me. Even in that, though, I had to run forward in that healing journey and pray to God and say, God, please help him see you in this and help him see you in me.
Yeah.
And I would say that same thing to her. Like, I don't know. I don't have enough information to say you're at fault or he's at fault, but I do have enough information to say, hey, the alarm is ringing. You need to work on you, fall headfirst into it, figure out what is happening within you.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he has free will and choice. He's going to make his choice.
That's good.
I think the dust will settle.
Yeah.
And either he's going to divorce you or he's going to wake up and get it together.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to point out that it's not just you or like everything is contingent upon him.
No.
But what you're saying is like you should be seeking God. You should be seeking to increase yourself and, you know, establishing who you are in your own healing is going to be important. I would also say, I love where you're going with this, that sometimes when a man, this could be for a female as well, but I know specifically men, it's like we will go silent when we don't feel like we will be heard, or when we feel like we've tried to be heard before and the environment didn't allow our voice to be heard. So it's like he may be in a state where the environment is not there for him to truly be heard and not be attacked.
He has emotional injury.
Exactly. And so this may be, which is still not cool, his way of punishing.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So I think that's good. That's good to bring that out. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
sounding the alarm is, I love how you said that.
absolutely. And not saying, I'm not saying to hang out. I think that the Bible tells us that light and dark cannot be in the same place.
For sure.
So as you are falling headfirst into light and into healing and into wholeness, everything around you is going to change.
Yeah.
Friends, family, everything. And those who want to embrace the light will stay, husband included. And those who don't will leave.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do too much to make it happen.
For sure.
All you're doing is focusing on healing, focusing on God.
Yeah.
So, like, everything else works out.
Yeah, that's good.
All things work out in the end.
Okay. That's good. There you are. We would love to hear y'all comments on that as well.
Yeah. Comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Who was at fault?
So you said you wanted to do like a little game or something. I'm excited to know what this is. All right.
Well, it's not really a game, but
Okay.
you know, I like to hear you gas me up. So, share 3 things that still make you go wow when thinking about me.
Okay, just whatever the first 3 things that come to my mind. One is when you get undressed, I still go, wow. Okay. What we talking about? What we talking about?
We're talking about putting on clothes.
Number 2, I would say when you sing, I still am like, wow, okay, that's the same voice I heard when I first introduced you on the stage. And I'm like, okay, wow.
I hope you hear that at 99.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Because I ain't going to stop singing.
No, and I love it. And number 3, I would probably say that we can still learn something new about each other, or that, no, let me take that one. That would be another one, okay? Because I was going to say, there was a couple of things I was going to say. I would use this as an example, that you still entertain the ideas that I have and what I want for our family and our marriage. And I'm still like, wow, she's still rocking, you know? And I come with some stuff. I'm like, babe, this is literally on some, babe, we need to do it. Where I think this was in Puerto Rico. After the video went viral, I'm like, babe, we need to do a podcast. And I talked to you like, okay, what's the podcast about? I'm like, this is what it's about. This is what we're going to do. All that. I hit up Jonathan. I'm like, yo, bro, I need you. Let's go ahead and let's do this thing. So you saying yes and not, it's just supporting the thing and not trying to necessarily talk me out of it or what. That's still a like, wow, like she still believes in me and the ideas, things like that. So I would say those would be my three.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say my number one is the way that you still intentionally and actively multiple times a day try to reassure me of my beauty and of like how in love with me you are.
For sure.
Without prompting.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, boy, but you have done that from the beginning and you still do that. And it's like, wow. Like, he really loves me.
That's good.
He really loves me. I think the other thing that goes with that is when I see you parent our kids, daughters specifically, because I was a daughter, right? But even our sons, like, you are such a phenomenal father. And like, I look at your relationship with our daughter, and a little bit of me is a little envious. Like, and we'll talk about that at some time. My dad was there, but not when I was young, right? And so it was like, man, like, she's got such a good daddy. She has, God.
That's good.
She has this man who is rooting for her.
Yeah.
And it's like, girl, I don't know. Do you know how good you got
That's
him?
good.
I'm out here trying to have him parent me right now. Look, I'm like, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me I can swim. Like, help me do that. So that makes me say, wow. And then I would say the third wow that I see, and it kind of is funny. It goes along with your, like, how I still entertain the crazy. 21 years you've been presenting. Y'all, his first crazy idea was called the Finder. Y'all, somebody put that in the comments. I'll let you know what the Finder was. This was in college,
Right.
the very first thing. But he always has come with something. But the premise for that is this drive and desire to be a phenomenal provider.
Yeah.
Even when you were sick in 2023, and when we talked about in another episode, and I was like, I was solving it on my own. I went out and fell back on my degree and tried to figure it out on my own. Even in that, you were laying in bed trying to figure out a way to bring money in, and not just bring money in, but make it so that I didn't have to work and we could still thrive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, your pursuit of providing is like, wow. Like, it's awesome. It's amazing. So I know how blessed I am for God to have chosen me as your wife. We joke about it, and I'm like, boy, you better know how. You should. But I know how blessed I am for God to have chosen me as your wife, especially understanding I am no easy feat, okay? Yeah. I bring a lot, and you handle all of that with love and care and compassion and grace. So that makes me say, wow.
That's good word.
I like you and love you.
That's good word.
Okay.
That's good word.
So let's get final thoughts about this episode, because, that timer went off. We done, I think ultimately, we always, from early on in our marriage, said love is an action, right? You don't have to feel it. You have to choose it. You have to choose to do the action of love. And once you make that choice to love, you make that choice to show that action, all of those feelings can come back.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I would just say to just keep in mind, healing is a journey, not a destination. And as you pursue God, there you will find wholeness. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, so we want to thank y'all, the audience, for coming with us on this series. This is the end of series 1. There is more and more and more to come. Please submit any ideas for future series or episodes. You can do it through DM. You can go ahead and put it in the comments. We're reading, we're paying attention. And yeah, I think ultimately, like, we've been married for 16 years, but we're still becoming. We're still choosing each other every day, and you can too.
Amen. Absolutely.
Till next time.